Hello, folks. Merry early Christmas, I would say you call it. It's about a week left till Christmas, so Merry early Christmas, everybody. The weather outside, again, it's frightful. Just like our game was yesterday. Let's talk about that really fast. Now, where to begin? Where to begin with this game, people? First of all, we were up at the end of the first quarter. We were up by halftime. We had 14, they had 10. I don't know what Pat Shurmur does after the first half ends. He must have some evil clone that comes in like for him, steps in at for him, and then comes in and then fucking coaches the rest of the game because I don't know what the hell he does. I don't know what the hell kind of adjustments he does after the first half. They gotta be terrible because we stunk after the first half. We were doing terrible after the first half. We got one touchdown. And that was in the fourth quarter, people. It was a beautiful touchdown. It was a 69-yarder to Benjamin Watson. That was awesome. But other than that, like, where else do we go? We're out of the playoffs now. There's no way we're making the playoffs. If you really think we're going to make the playoffs, no. In fact, I wasn't even anticipating playoffs this year. No way. After that, after that second Baltimore game, I knew we weren't going to make the playoffs. I knew we were not going to make the playoffs. Sure, yeah, it was fun, having a 3-game win streak, that was pretty cool, but now it's gone. It's just gone. Uh, but on the bright side, at least the other teams in the AFC North aren't doing that much better either. I mean, Cincinnati was the only team that won last week in our division. And again, they're on a hot streak, you know. Steelers can still make the playoffs. Baltimore, they're obviously going to make the playoffs. They clinched a divisional spot yesterday. Even though they lost, it doesn't matter. They're still making the playoffs. While we once again are left with nowhere to go. We're left with nowhere to go. This is this again. This Can you imagine if all three of them in the AFC North made it to the playoffs again this year? I remember last year. I remember last year when both Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati made it to the playoffs. We were sitting there at our little 4-12 score, just wondering, just wondering, how much more can we possibly keep this up? Jimmy Haslam, how much more can we keep this up? Brandon Whedon, I still think he's the future for this team. Do not put in Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy is a good runner. He's not a good quarterback. We've seen this before. We saw this last year. Trent Richardson, I know you've been working on getting more through the field, but you gotta stop doing this. You gotta stop doing this when you first get the ball. You gotta go right there. Just go right there through the middle. Find a hole, get right through the middle. How do you think last week when we faced the Chiefs, how do you think Jamal Charles got that 80-yard touchdown? How do you think? Because he went right there, right up the middle. He wasn't dancing through the line of scrimmage. No, he wasn't going like this, sidestepping. No, he went right through to that touchdown. Now I know you're still a rookie, but look at other running backs like Doug Martin. Doug Martin goes right through the middle. He doesn't do any dancing around in the line of scrimmage. No, he goes right through the middle. And I'm not saying you got to emulate other running backs. I understand you got to have your own poise. I understand that you have to have your own sense of who you are as a player. But you just have to work on that, man. You really do. I think that you are the future for this team. I really do think that. I think that by a couple of years you can be an elite running back. You really can. But you just got to work on running through the middle. You really can. And now we have Denver. Now we have Denver. Who did Denver beat last week? Oh yeah, that's right. A really hot Baltimore Ravens team. They beat a Ravens team that many people thought they couldn't beat, that they would not beat, but they did. So what makes you think that we're gonna win? There's I'm not saying I have zero hopes of us winning this week, but there's a 50-50 chance that we're gonna win this week. I know Peyton Manning always has struggled with our team, but still, man, Peyton Manning is on a whole nother team. He's got a whole new way of how he just works. And I mean, I've always had respect for Peyton Manning, always have, and probably always will. There's no doubt that he's the probably the front runner to get MVP this year. There's no denying that. There's just absolutely no denying that. He has great receivers, which I mean, what we Greg Little has been performing better. Josh Gordon is a beast. He's probably our best wide receiver ever this year. Benjamin Watson is a great tight end. Cameron is a great tight end, but that's about it. Like Massaquoi, he hasn't shown me anything this year except for injuries. That's all he's shown me. That's all he has shown me. It's just nuts. Like seeing a team like the Houston Texans last year. Do you remember the Texans last year? They had to go through at least three quarterbacks last year, and yet they still made the playoffs. Why? Because they were a competent team. They were actually a team that had their shit together. We did not have our shit together in the beginning of the year, and now look at us. We paid for it. We paid the price for it. Had we gotten our shit together like we do now, I think we wouldn't have, first of all, we wouldn't have gone 0-5 in the beginning of the year. But it's still nuts. All these games that we could have won. We could have won that Eagles game. We could have won that Buffalo game had we not screwed up in the beginning half. We could have won that Giants game had we stayed focused. You know, we were up by 2 touchdowns in the first like 2 minutes of that game. We could have won that Colts game had Josh Gordon caught that ball. But I'm not gonna blame him because again, he's the only like actual good receiver we had at that time. I'm so happy that we won that Chargers game because I mean, we were dangerously close to losing that game. We could have won that Dallas game had Pat Shurmur not been an idiot in that game. It's just crazy. It really just is. What's the future for next year? Because it's obvious. We're looking forward to next year. We really are. What can we do next year better? I don't know. I just don't know. Get better on defense. Defense has shown much more improvement, but definitely pick a wide receiver in the first pick of the draft. For our very first selection in the draft, definitely get a wide receiver. Maybe in the second round, pick up a quarterback, maybe, get rid of Colt McCoy. You can keep Seneca Wallace. He's a good little backup and everything. Just get rid of Colt McCoy. Either get rid of him or make him a running back. I know that you've been testing with Greg Little as a running back. That's out. That would honestly be pretty cool. You know, Josh Cribbs. I don't know if he's going to be here next year. Same thing with Phil Dawson. And Phil Dawson is probably the most respected guy on that team. It's going to be crazy for next year, but I'm still holding it up, man. I'm still holding it up. I mean, I don't know where we're going to go next year, but definitely wide receiver in the first selection of our draft. Then a quarterback, then maybe some linebackers, just get it done. Jimmy Haslam, just get it done. That's all I'm going to say. I'll see you guys probably when the playoffs start. I'll see you guys later.